Italian olive oil aru bhejor gunere সমৃদ্ধ Jack olive oil body oil.
Nagaland government to send its recommendations on ENPO draft MOS to centre at the earliest, say sources. ENPO likely to hold emergency CEC meet if comments found unsatisfactory. Tripura founder Pradyut Debarma demands voting rights for Bruce in TTAADC areas, urges Election Commission to urgently address matter. Northeast can never be divided, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in his Diwali address from Tezpur. Rajnath Singh highlights a mega road infra push in the region. Fire of separatist movements doused through dialogue, peace and development in Northeast, says Prime Minister Modi in his Unity Day speech. Interstate border issues also being addressed at a rapid rate, says Prime Minister Modi. Biren Singh government extends financial assistance to IDPs on Diwali and Ningol Chakoba. Relief camp inmates seek more help before winter sets in.
Evening Prime is brought to you by
Yamaha, Call of the Blue, Indian Super League, Let's Football,
and
Patanjali Dant Kanti, Full Fresh.
We start with the top focus from Nagaland. The Nephew Rio-led government is looking to send its comments on the draft memorandum of settlement with the ENPO to the centre at the earliest, said sources. Official sources informed that the minutes of yesterday's cabinet meeting are likely to be approved today. The ENPO had on October 11 said that the state government will have to submit its comments to the Government of India by October 31st, that is today. However, following yesterday's crucial cabinet meet, the ENPO is now likely to hold its emergency CEC meeting soon to further discuss the course of action if the comments are found to be unsatisfactory. Now, the Eastern Nagaland Legislators Union had submitted its comments on the proposed Naga Frontier Naga territory to Chief Minister Nephew Rio on the 28th of October. State spokesperson and Minister KG Kenye had yesterday informed that the state government is now ready to give its comments to the Government of India. However, there is no time frame to submit its comments. And our Kohima correspondent Sarah Konyak had more on this. Let's listen in. So Sarah, can it be said that the Rio cabinet has endorsed the entire draft and it's just a mere formality now before it is recommended to the centre?
Absolutely. As per the spokesperson, Mr. KG Kenye, briefing the media after the cabinet meeting, had very clearly stated that the cabinet has more or less accepted the entire draft proposal of the memorandum of settlement and the recommendation that was forwarded by the Eastern Nagaland Legislators Union. On October 11, the ENPO had issued a statement giving deadline to the state government to give their comments to the Government of India, and the deadline expires today. Well, Ronak, it is still uncertain whether the ENPO will consider to extend its deadline, which expires today. It is also unclear whether the proposed CEC meeting of the ENPO will scheduled for tomorrow will take place. The ENPO have not disclosed any details on these matters. However, now that the cabinet have more or less approved the recommendations of the Eastern Nagaland Legislators Union in yesterday's meeting, there is a possibility that the ENPO may consider to give more time to the state government to give its comments to the Government of India. And at the same time, sources have also informed our channel that the ENPO will have an emergency CEC meeting anytime. However, the date, time and place is still unknown. It is also to be noted here, Ronak, that the Eastern Nagaland Legislators Union also had a meeting today wherein the NLU ministers had briefed the MLAs on yesterday's cabinet decision. And the NLU is hopeful that the state government will send their recommendations to the government of India at the earliest, after which the tripartite talk will begin to further discuss on the proposal.
Also, Sarah, we have accessed some of the salient points of the draft MOS, but what will be the interim arrangement immediately after the FNT is set up? And secondly, can you shed some more light on the funding part?
The main point of the entire draft is that the ENPO had earlier demanded for a statehood, which was clearly rejected by the government of India. Union Home Minister Amit Shah had clearly stated that whatever is to be done will be done under the will be done within the state of Nagaland, and there will be no separate state given to the Eastern Nagaland. And the first draft was also rejected by the government of India, and the draft that we have is actually the proposal of the Ministry of the Government of India. And definitely, the main point was regarding the financial autonomy, which the ENPO has been demanding in all its meetings, that the FNT should have the financial autonomy. However, as per the state government spokesperson, there will be no financial autonomy, and whatever guidelines is there will be strictly followed. But however, there will be a stipulated time frame wherein the package or the funds that comes for the Eastern Nagaland will be released in that stipulated time, Ronald.
All right, on to another big story now. Tripura Motha founder and royal scion Pradyut Debarma has pressed for voting rights for the Brews under TTAADC. Debarma called on State Election Commissioner Saradindu Chaudhary at the Secretariat today to demand voting rights for the newly resettled Brew community across 13 locations in Tripura. The Brew people who were displaced from Mizoram have been settled permanently in Tripura following an accord. Debarma urged the State Election Commission to include these Brew settlements located within the Tripura Tribal Areas Autonomous District Council areas in the voter list for the upcoming village council elections. He submitted a memorandum on behalf of the TTAADC, emphasizing the importance of urgently addressing the matter to ensure that all tribal communities in the region have representation.
Because अभी VC इलेक्शन होगा, इन्होंने अश्योर किया है एज पर हाई कोर्ट गाइडलाइंस, और हमको VC इलेक्शन करना है. बहुत दिन हो गया है, ऑलमोस्ट 5 years हो गया. हमारे लोग ग्राउंड में सफ़र कर रहे हैं. तो मैं आज खुद यहाँ में आया हूँ, और मैंने उनको चिट्ठी भी दिया है ADC के थ्रू से, और हमने कहा कि आप इलेक्शन जल्द से जल्द होल्ड कीजिए, लेकिन त्रिपुरा सोसाइटी को और डिवाइड नहीं हो सकता है. तो जो हमारा 13 ब्रू गांव है उसको भी इंक्लूड करना चाहिए VC में, और उनका भी एक न्यू क्रिएशन होना चाहिए. वो भी मैंने अपने जो सेटलमेंट लीडर्स हैं उनके साथ हम लोग सब मिलकर आके वी हैव गिवन इट टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, एंड नाउ दे हैव टू कंडक्ट द इलेक्शन. तो ये बात हमने रख दिया है क्लियरली, ब्लैक एंड वाइट रिटन में दिया है. मैंने खुद कमिटमेंट दिया था कि मैं इसको फॉलो अप करूँगा, हमने किया है. अब प्रोसेस हैज़ टू एंड बिफोर द हाई कोर्ट ऑर्डर, and elections have to be held, and we are ready for the election, and Triprasas deserve to have their VC elections, and I will do that till we do not achieve it. We will not rest.
And meanwhile, State Election Commissioner Saradindu Chaudhary said that the inclusion of Brew settlements in the voter list falls under the purview of the state government's Tribal Welfare Department, which would need to conduct delimitation in the designated areas.
They have two demands. Only they want that new villages to be constituted with the Brew migrants, those who have already settled in our state. And the second demand by election of the two ADC constituencies. So we have categorically informed that this is the duty of the Tribal Welfare Department for delimitation of the villages. After delimitation, the commission will come in picture. The second demand for by-election, in this regard also, Tribal Welfare Department has to notify me for conduct of that election. That notification they have not yet issued. So they assured me they will take up the issue with the Tribal Welfare Department. After finalization of delimitation, then we can proceed for conduct of election, and then only the date can be fixed.
All right, my colleague Pinaki Das joins us live from Agartala at this point in time. Pinaki, so this is indeed a very noble gesture, a noble, demand that has been made by the royal sign. However, it has been clearly stated that, first and foremost, delimitation has to be conducted in the designated area. So that is something that may require a little bit of time. So do you think it will be possible to get it done before the village council elections, Pinaki?
The crux is that these group people, they were migrated from neighboring Mizoram, struggling in camps, 7 camps in North Tripura district, which is bordering Mizoram. Due to communal violence, they had migrated Mizoram, though there were initial few attempts for resettlement to Mizoram. But then, after Pradyut Kishore Devbarma with the new BJP government in Tripura, initiatives were taken for their resettlement. It did not happen with Mizoram, but they were settled in Tripura with some package of some 800 crores for their resettlement. And one important thing we have to notice is in the last parliamentary election, they had casted their vote in Tripura. And now when the village council election, which is very important in the sense this is the, you can say the panchayat level election, and in the TTADC, that is the district council where the tribal peoples are majority, so that they can form their own priorities for development. At this time, when this is not happening for 5 years, and only after the intervention of the High Court, order was passed after the tenure had already passed 4 years back, that now the election is taking place. Now, why these people will not be able to cast their vote in this grassroots level election? That is the question. There are complexities. Now why they could cast their vote in the previous election, parliament election, but now again they can't cast their vote. That is very much an issue. But one have to understand that this is one fundamental right for someone to cast his or her vote. And now Pradyut Kishore Devbarma is again intervening so that they get their democratic or political right. But we have to wait and see if in this village council, which is supposed to take place by December, it seems it will take little more, 1 month more, after December only it will happen. But by this time there are 2 months, hardly 2 months left. Will they be able to cast their vote? That is the big question.
Indeed, that is the big question at this point in time. We'll have to wait and watch. For now, Pinaki Das, thank you very much for all those details.
প্ৰকাশ পালে নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ আইনা জীৱনৰ অতি শীঘ্ৰেই আপোনাৰ কপিটো সংগ্ৰহ কৰক।
পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি বিশুদ্ধ সৰিয়হৰ তেলত বিশুদ্ধতাৰ তীব্ৰতা এনেকুৱা যি লৈ আহে চকুলৈ পানী, আৰু যেতিয়া পৰিবেশন কৰা হয় তেতিয়া সকলোৰে মুখলৈ আহে পানী। সোৱাদ আৰু বিশুদ্ধতাৰ সংযোগ পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি সৰিয়হৰ তেল।
To save Mr. Sarkar from fever due to weakness, you needed a doctor. And to save this TMT bar from rust due to weak cement, you needed to use Star Dhalai Master. Because in ordinary cement, the TMT bar catches rust and cracks appear in the dhalai. Only Star Dhalai Master's strong grip solidly holds the dhalai. Solid dhalai, mazboot ghar. Star Dhalai Master.
শ্যাম ষ্টীল ফ্লেক্সি ষ্ট্ৰং TMT বাৰ
য'ত কেৱল ষ্ট্ৰেংথে নহয় ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটিও আছে
যেতিয়া TMT ফ্লেক্সি ষ্ট্ৰং
তেতিয়া ঘৰ চিৰদিনৰ কাৰণে ষ্ট্ৰং
बॉलीवुड से लेकर हॉलीवुड तक रियल लाइफ से लेकर रियल लाइफ तक देखिए मनोरंजन
And on to another big story now. The internally displaced people in Manipur, who have been at the receiving end of things for the last 16 months, have received a little respite and relief this festive season. As promised by Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, the Manipur government today handed over cash assistance of Rs 1,000 each for the Diwali and Ningol Chakoba celebrations. Officials personally delivered the financial aid at various relief camps throughout Manipur, ensuring that each IDP received the amount as a gesture of support during these challenging times. The recipients meanwhile urged the government to provide blankets, mattresses and other essentials before the winter sets in. Over 45,000 people have been displaced by the ethnic unrest in Manipur, which broke out in May 2023. And after months, the iconic Khwairamband Ima market in Imphal is being seen bustling with shoppers as people in strife-torn Manipur celebrate Diwali and Ningol Chakoba. With no fresh incidents of violence of late, a sense of peace prevails in the Imphal Valley, allowing the community to forget the trauma of the recent conflicts and take part in the festivities. This is in stark contrast to the scenario during Diwali last year, when there were hardly any celebrations. Talking to Northeast Live, market goers said that while these celebrations won't match the scale of past years, things were certainly much better than last year. Many expressed hope for lasting peace in the state as they prepared for the festivities. My colleague Lucky Boy Singh has this exclusive report. Take a look.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali, same to you.
कितना साल से आप मणिपुर में
25 years.
25 years. अभी इस बार दिवाली कैसे बनाएंगे?
नहीं, इस बार अच्छा मन रहा है. इस बार अच्छी तरह से मना रहे हैं लोग. है कि इस बार शांति भी है.
शांति को ऐसा ही बनाए रखने के लिए जो दोनों समुदाय के लोगों को क्या अपील करना चाहेंगे?
अपील ये करेंगे कि शांति से रहो. शांति से रहने में फायदा है दोनों पक्षों को.
शांति होने से डेवलपमेंट होगा.
डेवलपमेंट होगा, सबको नुकसान नहीं होगा, जल्द मान हानि नहीं कोई भी होगी, है कि नहीं. तो शांति में ही सब कुछ है.
मेरा घर का प्रिपरेशन तो वही दिया जलाना है, बस उतना ही है. अभी तो और कुछ लाइटिंग वगैरह तो कुछ नहीं किए हुए. नहीं, इस बार मार्केट ठीक है. पिछले बार से तो बहुत अच्छा मार्केट है इस बार.
You could witness that people of all the community in Manipur will be celebrating this Diwali. And yes, the sales of products that have been sold in the market increase as the festive season came, as well as the present conflict have some rest. So people are wishing to join the festive season to celebrate the Deepavali, to celebrate the Ningol Chakoba. And yes, by seeing the market right now in Imphal, people are happily coming towards the market to purchase various types of goods that will be used for the festival. For now, with camera person Rosen, this is Lucky Lailakum reporting for Notice Live from Imphal.
Moving on now, in a big Diwali message from Tezpur in Assam, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that the unity of the Northeast shall always remain intact. Rajnath Singh warned those trying to destabilize the region, stating that the people will never let them be successful in their motives.
आज जो ताकतें नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में डिवीजन पैदा करने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, उन्हें नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन के लोग मेजर खातिंग से प्रेरणा लेते हैं. नॉर्थ ईस्ट का इलाका न तो बटेगा और न ही किसी भी सूरत में किसी को बटने देगा.
And Rajnath Singh said that the armed forces are not only guarding the borders in the region and ensuring internal security, but also working in close coordination with the public through various initiatives.
तो हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में पीस एंड सिक्योरिटी को इंश्योर कर रही हैं। हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने खुद को सिर्फ बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी तक ही सीमित नहीं रखा है, बल्कि इसके अलावा भी एनसीसी के माध्यम से, सैनिक स्कूलों के माध्यम से और जरूरत पड़ने पर एसएडीआर अभियानों के माध्यम से हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस रीजन में लोगों के साथ इंगेज कर रही हैं। हमारी सेना नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी को इंश्योर करने में बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रही है।
Well, the Raksha Mantri, who virtually unveiled a statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in Tawang, besides inaugurating a museum in the border town, dedicated to Army officer turned bureaucrat Major Rallingnau Khathing, who played a pivotal role in the crucial integration of this strategically vital region into the Indian Union back in 1951, also spoke on the massive infra push in the northeast, especially in Arunachal Pradesh. He made a special mention of the ongoing Arunachal Frontier Highway project, which is expected to be a major strategic asset for India.
पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट में रक्षा मंत्रालय अपना बहुत महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दे रहा है। यदि मैं विशेष रूप से अरुणाचल प्रदेश की बात करूं तो यहां बॉर्डर रोड्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने कई सारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स बीते कुछ दिनों में पूरे किए हैं। अभी लगभग 2 हफ्ते पहले ही मैंने अरुणाचल में बीआरओ के 18 प्रोजेक्ट्स का इनागुरेशन किया था। इसके अलावा असम के तेजपुर, यानी जहां मैं इस समय उपस्थित हूं, इस इलाके को अरुणाचल के तवांग से जोड़ने वाली 13,000 फीट पर बनी सेला सुरंग भी इस क्षेत्र में बीआरओ के इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स में से एक है। साथियों, आने वाले समय में अरुणाचल फ्रंटियर हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन को, स्पेशली बॉर्डर एरियाज को आपस में जोड़ने में बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएगा। लगभग 2000 किलोमीटर लंबा यह हाईवे नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन के साथ साथ पूरे भारत के लिए एक इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रेटेजिक एसेट साबित होगा, ऐसा मेरा पक्का विश्वास है। इसके अलावा यह पूरे रीजन के लिए इकोनॉमिक एसेट का भी काम करेगा। ये तो सिर्फ एक उदाहरण है। बीआरओ इस पूरे रीजन में जो भी एक्टिविटीज कर रहा है उसे उंगलियों पर नहीं गिनाया जा सकता है। रोड्स और ब्रिजेस के द्वारा बॉर्डर रोड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने न सिर्फ प्लेसेस के बीच ही डिस्टेंस को कम किया है, बल्कि दिलों के बीच की दूरियों को भी कम किया है।
And Defence Minister Rajnath Singh virtually inaugurated a museum dedicated to Major Rallingnau Khathing in Tawang. So who was Major Rallingnau Khathing, also known as Bob Khathing? Well, a Naga from Manipur, Bob Khathing is best known for his expedition to the remote region of Tawang in 1951 that paved the way for its integration with the rest of India. Later, he served as Indian ambassador to Myanmar from 1972 to 1975. The officer was decorated with the Military Cross, member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, and later with Padma Shri in 1957. Khathing became the Chief Secretary of Nagaland in 1967. Khathing, who had served in the Assam Rifles, was made the Assistant Political Officer after he joined the Indian Frontier Administrative Service, which was created to administer the Northeast Frontier Agency, which is present-day Arunachal Pradesh. At that time, Tibetans arrived in India in large numbers through various routes to escape Chinese rule and tyranny in their land. The British Indian government had attempted to extend its administration up to Tawang but never met with success. Jairam Das Daulatram, the then governor of Assam, ordered Khathing to occupy Tawang and extend Indian administration till there. In January 1951, the Tawang Expedition Party set out to do its job. In the harshest of conditions presented by lack of connectivity and the environment, the team led by Bob Khathing journeyed from one point to another. And after reaching Tawang, Khathing held court for the people there, where he conveyed to them that they should not have any apprehensions about any interference in their monastic rituals and functioning. He added that the Constitution of the new Republic of India tolerated religious freedom, and as Indians, they would enjoy the same rights and privileges as enjoyed by others. Finally, on the 14th of February, he moved his administrative headquarters to the permanent site he had selected. Once the task was accomplished, Assam Governor Daulat Ram informed about his order to Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and Tawang was successfully brought under the ambit of India. On to another big story now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today lashed out at those trying to divide and destabilize the nation, stating that their intentions will never yield results. Leading Rashtriya Ekta Divas or National Unity Day celebrations in Gujarat's Ekta Nagar, Prime Minister Modi highlighted Northeast's journey from an insurgency-infested region to a land of peace and progress in the last 10 years.
बीते 10 साल में भारत ने ऐसे अनेक मुद्दों का समाधान किया है जो राष्ट्रीय एकता के लिए खतरा थे। आज आतंकियों के आकाओं को पता है कि भारत को नुकसान पहुंचाया तो भारत उन्हें छोड़ेगा नहीं। आप नॉर्थ ईस्ट में देखिए कितने बड़े संकट थे। हमने संवाद से, विकास और विश्वास से अलगाव की आग को शांत किया। बोडो समझौते ने असम में 50 सालों का विवाद खत्म किया है। ब्रू रियांग एग्रीमेंट, इसके कारण हजारों विस्थापित लोग अनेक दशकों के बाद अपने घर लौटे हैं। नेशनल लिबरेशन फ्रंट ऑफ त्रिपुरा से हुए समझौते ने लंबे समय से चल रही अशांति खत्म की है। असम और मेघालय के बीच के सीमा विवाद को काफी हद तक हम सुलझा चुके हैं।
And delivering his address to the nation today, Prime Minister Modi said that certain forces, both within as well as outside India, are trying to destabilize peace in the nation. The Prime Minister said those forces are making desperate attempts to spread anarchy and create a negative image of the nation in the world. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi provided a boost to soldiers stationed at the India-Pakistan border today as he celebrated Diwali with Jawans deployed in Gujarat's Kutch. Addressing the forces, Prime Minister Modi said that his government will never compromise with even an inch of India's land. Prime Minister Modi also said that keeping in mind the needs of the 21st century, the government is equipping the army and security forces with modern resources. Prime Minister Modi also said his government's top priority is to develop infrastructure along the border areas. He also stressed the need for an integrated theatre command mechanism and said that India is fast heading towards achieving this target.
एक ऐसी सरकार है जो देश की सीमा के 1 इंच से भी समझौता नहीं कर सकती। कभी कभी कहता हूं कि एक आर्मी, एक एयरफोर्स और एक नेवी हमें एक नजर आते हैं, लेकिन उनका जब संयुक्त अभ्यास होता है तो एक नहीं 111 नजर आते हैं। 21वीं सदी की जरूरतों को देखते हुए आज हम अपनी सेनाओं को, हमारे सुरक्षा बलों को आधुनिक संसाधनों से लैस कर रहे हैं। हम हमारी सेनाओं को विश्व की सबसे आधुनिक मिलिट्री फोर्सेस की कतार में खड़ा कर रहे हैं। हमारे इन प्रयासों का आधार है रक्षा क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भर भारत।
আয়না দৃষ্টি
প্ৰকাশ পালে নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ আইনা জীৱনৰ অতি শীঘ্ৰেই আপোনাৰ কপিটো সংগ্ৰহ কৰক
প্ৰতিগৰাকী মাকৰ এটাই প্ৰিয় বস্তু খাদ্য কৰি তোলে পূৰ্ণৰূপে সুস্বাদু সোৱাদেৰে পূৰ্ণ কিন্তু স্বাস্থ্যকৰ পেট ভৰাই খোৱা খাদ্য মাৰ আশীৰ্বাদৰ প্ৰতিগৰাকী মাকৰে ভৰসা মাতৃ স্নেহেৰে ভৰা পতঞ্জলি বিশুদ্ধ গৰু গাখীৰৰ ঘিউ
মোৰ ছাল যেন কবিতা কাৰণ ইয়াৰ চিৰসংগী ইটালিয়ান অলিভ অইল আৰু ভেষজৰ গুণেৰে সমৃদ্ধ জেক অলিভ অইল বডি অইল
কবিতাৰ দৰে চালে জগাই তোলে মনত নতুন সুৰ
बॉलीवुड से लेकर हॉलीवुड तक रियल लाइफ से लेकर रियल लाइफ तक देखिए मनोरंजन जगत की हर खबर हर शुक्रवार शनिवार और रविवार दोपहर 2:30 बजे और हर रात 11:30 बजे
শিশুসকল হৈছে আমাৰ ভৱিষ্যত সন্তানক সফল মানৱ ৰূপে গঢ় দিয়াত অভিভাৱকৰ কৰণীয় বহুত এই অভিভাৱকত্বৰ বিষয়বস্তু হিচাপে লৈ সজাই তোলা হৈছে আইনা জীৱনৰ নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ সংখ্যাটি ইয়াৰ উপৰিও পাঠকে পঢ়িবলৈ পাব আইনাত স্বাস্থ্য সৌন্দৰ্য ফেশ্বন কেৰিয়াৰ খেল
And on to some other news now. St. Anthony's Lower Primary School, a cherished landmark in Shillong, is set to be replaced as part of modernization efforts that are gradually transforming the city's architectural landscape. Known for its wooden and Assam-type colonial structure, the school has stood as a symbol of history and tradition in Don Bosco Square for over 80 years. However, mounting concerns about safety and infrastructure standards have led the school administration to plan a new concrete structure to accommodate its expanding student population. The character of Shillong's original wooden and colonial buildings is gradually fading, replaced by an influx of practical yet stark concrete structures. While these modern buildings fulfill safety and capacity requirements, they alter the city's architectural essence. Well, St. Anthony's is no exception as its aging structure struggles to meet today's standards of safety and durability, especially with nearly 700 students now enrolled. To manage the transition seamlessly, the school administration has prepared plans to ensure uninterrupted classes for nursery, KG and grades 4 and 5 throughout the demolition and reconstruction phases. A new G+4 concrete building will replace the old building, bringing essential upgrades to accommodate growing student numbers while adhering to modern safety regulations. The replacement of St. Anthony's iconic building underscores the delicate balance between modernization and heritage in Shillong. As the city progresses, such developments highlight the challenges of maintaining its historical charm amidst rising infrastructure demands, symbolizing the shift in Shillong's evolving architectural identity.
Then it's a wooden structure. It has run its course. It is not safe. We have over 600 children in that building having their classes. We should not wait for tragedies to take place. We have to prevent tragedies from taking place. And if we ask why it's not that we are happy to remove it. Perhaps it was an iconic building once upon a time because that was the biggest building around. Right now, it has that way it has lost no more an iconic building that we can say. But more than anything else, it is not safe for students to sit anymore. And we have no other space where this can be, where we can have the classes. We need to have another building coming up in the same place because of the lack of space that we have, and so we have left with no choice other than thinking about dismantling the building.
Shifting focus now, a day after announcing a 5% hike in dearness allowance and dearness relief for state government employees and pensioners, Tripura Chief Minister Manik Saha today reiterated commitment to supporting state government employees despite Tripura's financial strain. During the Chief Minister's visit to a Kali temple in Agartala today on the occasion of Kali Puja and Diwali, Chief Minister Saha said that his government has no intention of depriving government employees, despite the state recently getting affected due to one of the worst floods in recent years that led to an estimated loss of rupees 15,000 crores.
5% দিয়ে আমাদের দেখুন আমাদের প্রায় 30% দিয়ে হয়ে গেছে 5% নিয়ে অনেকে ভেবেছিল 3% আমাদের কেন্দ্রীয় সরকার দিয়েছে এবং অন্যান্য রাজ্য 3% যে দিয়েছে আমরা 5% দিয়েছি আমরা চাই না যে যারা কর্মচারী মহল বা এলাইট যারা এই সুবিধাটা পাবে তাদের কোনো অবস্থায় বঞ্চিত করা আমাদের বঞ্চিত করার কোনো ইচ্ছা কোনোদিনই নেই আপনারা সবাই জানেন এবার এত বড় একটা বন্যা বিপর্যয় হয়ে গেল আমাদের প্রায় 15,000 কোটি টাকার মতো আমাদের সমস্যা হয়েছে সেই জায়গায় দাঁড়িয়েও আমরা 5% দিয়েছি
Well, the new DA increment pushes Tripura's overall DA for government employees to 30% and is expected to benefit thousands of employees and pensioners. Effective from November 1st, the DA hike will cost the state an additional rupees 500 crore annually, a considerable financial commitment amidst the ongoing recovery efforts from one of Tripura's worst flood crises in recent history. Saha, speaking after his temple visit, emphasized the government's dedication to fostering community harmony and shared well-being. This DA hike, a rare move given the financial toll of the recent floods, is viewed as a signal of the government's resolve to balance employee welfare with the state's recovery efforts. And on the auspicious occasion, Chief Minister Manik Saha also extended Diwali wishes to one and all today. Take a look.
সমস্ত ত্রিপুরাবাসী যেন শান্তিতে থাকে সবাই যেন খুশি থাকে সবাই ভালো থাকে আনন্দে থাকে এবং আমরা জাতি জনজাতি মিশ্র বসতির এই রাজ্য সবাই মিলে একসাথে যেন আমরা থাকতে পারি সেই প্রার্থনায় মার কাছে বললাম এবং আমি দীপাবলি উৎসব উপলক্ষে সমস্ত ত্রিপুরাবাসীকে আমি হার্দিক অভিনন্দন শুভেচ্ছা জানাই
Coming back to Meghalaya, Assembly Speaker Thomas A. Sangma inspected the progress of the under-construction Assembly building in Modyangyang today. Sangma said that the project is currently a month behind schedule. The Speaker emphasized the need for meeting the deadline for the completion of the project as no further extension would be granted. He added that although 90% construction work of many areas has been completed, the main hall in the central wing is still under construction.
I am quite satisfied with the process that is the work, the entire progress of the work. But however, I'm again not very happy because we have fallen back on the timeline and we are, I think, set back by another 1 month or so. So we have to ensure that this is the final. We have decided that no more timeline would be given, and since the entire building construction is in the final stages. As you can see, the part around me, behind me is complete. Almost 90% of the other buildings, the right wing and the left wing are almost completed. Even the Speaker's office, Chief Minister's chamber and other secretaries' office chamber and everything, library, everything are almost completed. The main hall on my right is still pending, but we resolved to finish it within the contractor and the PMC had given us that the structure of the dome would be completed within 45 days.
পালে নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ আইনা জীৱনৰ অতি শীঘ্ৰেই আপোনাৰ কপিটো সংগ্ৰহ কৰক।
বিশ্বাস কৰাৰ আগতে পৰীক্ষাটো কৰি লওঁ মেডাম।
পতঞ্জলি হানিক পৰীক্ষা কৰা হৈছে বিশ্বৰ প্ৰসিদ্ধ লেবত আৰু পতঞ্জলি হানিয়ে পাছ কৰিছে বিশুদ্ধতাৰ 100ৰো অধিক ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেল পেৰামিটাৰ্ছ। সেইটো হৈছে মোৰ বিশুদ্ধতাৰ নায়ক
পতঞ্জলি হানি 100ৰ ভিতৰত 100।
মোৰ ছাল যেন কবিতা, কাৰণ ইয়াৰ চিৰসংগী ইটালিয়ান অলিভ অইল আৰু ভেষজৰ গুণেৰে সমৃদ্ধ জেক অলিভ অইল বডি অইল।
কবিতাৰ দৰে চালে জগাই তোলে মনত নতুন সুৰ।
बॉलीवुड से लेकर हॉलीवुड तक रियल लाइफ से लेकर रियल लाइफ तक देखिए मनोरंजन जगत की हर खबर हर शुक्रवार, शनिवार और रविवार दोपहर 2:30 बजे और हर रात 11:30 बजे।
শিশুসকল হৈছে আমাৰ ভৱিষ্যত। সন্তানক সফল মানৱ ৰূপে গঢ় দিয়াত অভিভাৱকৰ কৰণীয় বহুত। এই অভিভাৱকত্বৰ বিষয়বস্তু হিচাপে লৈ সজাই তোলা হৈছে আইনা জীৱনৰ নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ সংখ্যাটি। ইয়াৰ উপৰিও পাঠকে পঢ়িবলৈ পাব আইনাত স্বাস্থ্য, সৌন্দৰ্য, ফেশ্বন, কেৰিয়াৰ, খেল জীৱনৰ, ভ্ৰমণৰ কাহিনী, পৰ্যটন, খাদ্য সম্ভাৰ, ছবি জগত, গল্প, উপন্যাস আদি নিয়মীয়া শিতানসমূহ। জানিবলৈ সংগ্ৰহ কৰক আইনা জীৱনৰ নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ সংখ্যাটি। আইনা জীৱনৰ অতি শীঘ্ৰেই সংগ্ৰহ কৰক আপোনাৰ প্ৰিয় আলোচনীখন। সকলো পাঠকলৈ শাৰদীয় অলেখ অযুত শুভকামনা।
News to keep you ahead. Evening Prime every day at 7 p.m.
Late Kailashnath Sharma Memorial Trust organizes
On to the top international focus now. Scenes of devastation were witnessed this morning in Spain following monstrous flash floods that wiped out villages and claimed at least 95 lives. The death toll is likely to rise as search efforts continue with an unknown number of people still missing. The aftermath looked very much similar to the damage left by a strong hurricane or tsunami. Wrecked vehicles, tree branches, downed power lines and household items, all mired in a layer of mud, covered the streets of Barrio de la Torre, just one of dozens of towns in the hard-hit region of Valencia, where 92 people died between late Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Over 1,000 soldiers from Spain's emergency rescue units joined regional and local emergency workers in the search for bodies and survivors. The defense minister said that soldiers alone had recovered 22 bodies and rescued 110 people by last night. Meanwhile, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is heading to the region to witness the destruction firsthand as the nation starts a 3-day period of official mourning. Thousands of people were left without water and electricity, and hundreds were stranded after their cars were wrecked or roads were blocked. The region remained partly isolated with several roads cut off and train lines interrupted, including the high-speed service to Madrid, which officials say won't be repaired for several days. And meanwhile, Spain's military emergency unit dramatically rescued an elderly woman who had been trapped by floods in the Valencia region. Spain issued another storm warning today for part of the Valencia region devastated by floods, which have killed at least 95 people as rescuers scoured flooded fields and stranded cars for those still missing. Local authorities have not disclosed how many people are still unaccounted for after Europe's deadliest floods in years. But Defense Minister Margarita Robles said late on Wednesday the death toll is likely to rise. The floods in Valencia battered the region's infrastructure, sweeping away bridges, roads, rail tracks and buildings as rivers burst their banks. On to more international news. Israeli strikes hit a market in Gaza's Beit Lahia on Wednesday, killing 8 people and wounding several others, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. Video obtained by Reuters showed bodies at the site of the attack as well as several injured people lying on the ground bleeding, some being attended to by medics and transported on a donkey cart. Casualties were taken to medical points in Beit Lahia and the Kamal Adwan Hospital in Jabalia. Israel pummeled the Gaza Strip with new bombardments that killed at least 30 people on Wednesday, Palestinian medics said, a day after one of the deadliest single strikes of the year-old war killed scores in the north of the enclave. The Israeli military assault that has laid waste to the Gaza Strip and killed tens of thousands of people shows no signs of slowing as Israel wages a new war against Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, and its backer, the United States, tries after a year of failed attempts to broker ceasefires for both. Northern Gaza, where Israel said in January it had dismantled militant group Hamas's command structure, is currently the focus of the military's assault. It sent tanks into Beit Lahia, Beit Hanon and Jabalia earlier this month to flush out Hamas fighters who it said had regrouped in the area. The assault in the north, in addition to new rules introduced by Israel and a halt to most private food deliveries, has also choked aid and food supplies to their lowest level since the beginning of the war. Israel says it has continued food deliveries into Gaza and blames the United Nations for failing to feed Gazans. Officials in Beit Lahia issued a statement urging world powers and aid agencies to halt Israel's attacks and bring in basic medical supplies, fuel and food, saying the latest military actions had left the area without food, water, hospitals and doctors. And meanwhile, the State Department said that it has not seen a significant improvement in aid reaching Palestinians in Gaza. The United States has told Israel it must take steps in the next month to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza or face potential restrictions on U.S. military aid, in the strongest such warning since Israel's war with Hamas began a year ago. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin wrote to Israeli officials earlier this month demanding concrete measures to address the worsening situation in the Palestinian enclave. The letter is the clearest ultimatum yet to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government since the Gaza conflict began, raising the prospect of a shift in Washington's support for Israel. The letter outlined specific steps Israel must take within 30 days, including enabling a minimum of 350 trucks to enter Gaza per day, instituting pauses in fighting to allow aid delivery and rescinding evacuation orders to Palestinian civilians when there is no operational need. Israel says it is following international law in its operations aimed at rooting out Hamas militants hiding in tunnels and among Gaza's civilian population.
Still roughly the same. There have been little improvements here and there on things like additional routes opening up inside Gaza and work around trying to work through some of the security issues. But the situation still remains not at a level that we find acceptable. And that's not just about the level of aid that is making it to Gaza, but also the distribution inside Gaza. And we continue to see breakdowns in communication between Israeli forces and UN agencies that is important to ensuring that aid can be delivered safely. And so the aid, much of the aid that's getting to Kerem Shalom or Erez, then isn't making its way to people either because of these bureaucratic obstacles or because it's being looted in many cases by armed gangs that are operating inside Gaza due to the breakdown in the security situation. So it continues to be of great concern to us, and we have not seen sufficient improvement since the Secretary sent that letter.
And meanwhile, the Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian Territory, including East Jerusalem and Israel, condemned the number of child deaths in Gaza amidst Israeli strikes in the Palestinian enclave. Navi Pillai and Chris Sidoti were speaking at a UN noon briefing, where Sidoti noted that 38 Israeli children were killed on October 7, 2023, and at least 13,319 Palestinian children have since died in Israeli attacks. Kids are not terrorists, he emphasized, warning that the conflict risks turning the occupied territories into a terrorism creation factory over the coming decades.
On the 7th of October, 38 Israeli children were killed, one of them under the age of 2 years. Since then, at least as of last week, 13,319 children have been killed in Gaza, of whom 786 were under the age of 1. And in addition, 165 children have been killed in the West Bank. Kids aren't terrorists. And yet, between what happened in southern Israel on the 7th of October and what has happened since then, we have had thousands and thousands of kids killed. And that's not even including those who are injured, those who are under the rubble, those who have lost limbs. It's said that the amputations of limbs of children is the greatest in any conflict in recorded modern warfare. I wonder about what the 1 million children in Gaza will be doing in 20 years' time.
And Pillai urged global leaders to change their approach to both states, insisting on a distinction between occupier and occupied.
You have to change your attitude in the way you treat these two states, Palestine and Israel. You have to distinguish between them. So, one is an occupier and the other are occupied. And the onus then lies on every state under international law to take steps not to cooperate with the occupation itself. It's the clearest direction coming to every state that you have the responsibility not to continue to support this occupation, and that would be any support, militarily, politically, or recognition, even about moving their embassies to Jerusalem. Every step that one can shine the microscope on comes under this. You have to change your traditional way of treating the situation.
Thank you.
And Israel began its military campaign after the October 7th attacks on southern Israel by Hamas-led fighters who killed 1,200 people and captured 250 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. More than 42,000 Palestinians have been killed in Israel's offensive so far, according to Gaza's health authorities. Moving on, Donald Trump lashed out at President Joe Biden over a comment that appeared to label Trump's supporters as garbage. Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters, Trump told supporters at a rally in North Carolina. On Tuesday, during a fundraising Zoom call with the voter advocacy group Voto Latino, Biden said, "The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American," according to a transcript posted on X by a White House spokesperson. Biden's comments came in response to comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage at the rally on Sunday and also disparaged Black Americans, Jewish people, Palestinians and Latinos. However, Biden sought to clarify his remarks soon after it became public, saying the word garbage referred to the hateful rhetoric at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally in New York on Sunday, not to his supporters.
250 million Americans are not garbage. This week, Kamala has been comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And now, speaking on a call for her campaign last night, crooked Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. No way. No way. And they actually mean it, even though, without question, my supporters are far higher quality than Crooked Joe or Lion Kamala. Higher quality. Higher quality. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. That's true.
প্ৰকাশ পালে নৱেম্বৰ মাহৰ আইনা জীৱনৰ অতি শীঘ্ৰেই আপোনাৰ কপিটো সংগ্ৰহ কৰক।
মুছাল যেন কবিতা কাৰণ ইয়াৰ চিৰসংগী ইটালিয়ান অলিভ অইল আৰু ভেষজৰ গুণেৰে সমৃদ্ধ জেক অলিভ অইল বডি অইল।
কবিতাৰ দৰে চালে জগাই তোলে মনত নতুন সুৰ।
সম্বন্ধৰ নাই কোনো ৰাইট আৰু নাই কোনো ৰং যিয়ে ফ্লেক্সিবল হয় সেয়ে ষ্ট্ৰং।
ৰিলেশ্যনশ্বিপে হওক বা ঘৰ সদায় ষ্ট্ৰং তেতিয়া হৈ ৰয় যেতিয়া তাত থাকে ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটিও।
Sham Steel Flexi Strong TMT Bar.